They say winning ain't everything. Well, we don't have them type conversations over here, man. Had that conversation with the losers. We trying to win at everything we do. Even in the loss, we don't see defeat. We see a lesson learned. Straight up. Look, I came into this world in 1978. The doc looked me in my face and knew I was something great. 45, 42 Prescott, that's where I'm from. Grew up in the slums around dope dealers and bums. As humble as I was, I adapted to my habitat. In my own lane though, far from where they crashing at. Dumb bar graduate, the game I'd have mastered it. Served in the Navy, look, y'all don't know the half of it. Pops passed in 01, moms passed last year. I know they up in heaven smiling down, crying mad tears, cause they son making it. No telling where I'm taking it. My city been cursed, but I feel that I'm breaking it. Coached at Wayne High in 15 in one state. Seen the fork in the road and went straight. I know what I'm worth, I'm OG King Kirk. Brooklyn Nets gaming crew legend, let's work.
Hey, this is OG King Kirk. Welcome to the OG2CENTS podcast. I want to thank each and every one of you tuning in every Sunday, but tonight we are live for the very first time on Twitch. So I appreciate everybody that's in the chat. I think we're going to have a good time. We got one of the most intense animated players in the league, so it's destined to be a good show. Just make sure, give us a follow on all major streaming platforms. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Let's continue to stand up against any form of social injustice and racism. And, this episode is brought to you by Zenni Blocks. Make sure to armor your eyes with Zenni Blocks virtual clear blue blockers. It's important to protect your eyes from the harmful blue lights from your digital screens, so you have less eye strain, and that makes for better sleep and performance. Check them out at Zenni.com/gaming or Zenni Gaming at Twitter and Instagram. This episode 39, The Freak Show Live. Nidal, known as MamaImDatMan. He's, guard for Kingsguard. He's the point guard for Kingsguard Gaming. He was drafted 29 overall. Crazy to think about now that here we are and going into our fourth season for B5 Gaming. He was a season 2 MVP, led B5 to the best regular season, while he was there. Season 2 turned champion and season 3 ticket champion. Mr. 77, and known as the creator of The Freak Show. So without further ado, MamaImDatMan, how you doing?
What's going on, OG? First and foremost, I'm super excited to be on here, first and foremost. Secondly, I'm ready to turn it up, have a good show, actually, and I'm super excited because it's the first time we're going live, and I'm honored to be a part of that.
No, I appreciate it. Typically, when I reach out to people, I ask them, you want to do pre-record or anything like that. It was your idea because nobody had never said they wanted to go live. So I'm like, hey, why not? Push me to another limit. I kind of been hesitant about going live because, it's a lot of things that go into that. And it's easier with the pre-records because you can edit, take out, add, do anything you want to do with it. But just getting right into it. I mean, a lot of people know about your story. Some people don't. So, just walk us through how you became the man that you are today.
Well, it's a long journey. So it all started, I want to say, about 2012. I got my first Xbox. I got 2K. That was my only game I had. And I started playing slowly but surely. Now, I started out as a big man, as a center, power forward. And I was the king of the post. Now, nobody could tell me anything at the time. If you matched up against me, it was like, okay, this guy's going to kill you. Now, at the time, I was like 13, 14. So, I had a really squeaky voice. I would go into those parties with all these grown men. And it was only a few that really messed with me. So that's how I kind of got into the scene slowly but sure, like I said. And as time went on, I was always a big team-up head. I would play that type of game mode. I wouldn't play Pro-Am so much. Team-up, I felt like it was always me versus Fab. And I always felt like that was where all the skill was. Pro-Am, again, you can create players, you could do all this, and people were making shots in people's faces and all that. I didn't really like that, so I kind of stayed away from it. As time went on, obviously I had to migrate to Pro-Am because that's where everything was at. I linked up with Fab, Majestic, We created Slight Work, where Spad had Slight Work, but that's when Slight Work became Slight Work, was when we all joined. And from there on, I got drafted 29th overall to the Blazers. And here I am on Kings Guard.
Cool, cool. I mean, you know, obviously season 3 was a lot different than most of us wanted it to be or expected to be. Playing remote, not really playing at the stage. You one of the players who I think thrive being in that arena. You know, how was season 3 for you overall?
It was tough. It was tough. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, with everything going on, you know, we had a homeless man break into our apartments. We didn't have the best internet. It's a lot of BS. You know, when you're out of your home state or wherever you're from, you know, we all coming together. Of course, we're all super cool with each other, but at a certain point, seeing each other day in and day out after a while gets exhausting. And I think that happened with every team. And it was kind of how you kind of managed it throughout the season. I think that was a big deal that people didn't take into account. But also just playing the game. I wouldn't say there was a lack of motivation because I'm always hyped to go into any game at any time. It was always fun, but just not being able to talk and scream at the opponent and kind of get your teammates hyped doing that, it kind of hurt us, I think, a little bit. Also with the West Coast, East Coast BS that we dealt with all season, it was frustrating. You know, when you know your potential is so high and you just keep coming up a little bit short, you know, you start taking out your anger on certain things that have nothing to do with the game and it spirals out of control. So I think that was the big thing for us, is that we were so outspoken and we had so many personalities that kind of hurt us because we were in this closed space where we saw each other every day. We couldn't do much. We were, you know, it was all tight knit. So it was tough, but I mean, I think I wouldn't trade it for anything. You know, it's better than not having a season. So it is what it is.
Okay, like I mentioned earlier, when in your description, Mr. 77, I think a lot of people remember that night against Bucks GG. Like, what was going through your mind as you was, out there just literally getting buckets? Like, I mean, nobody could stop you, nobody could do anything. Which, I mean, it almost looks surreal to a point. What was going through your mind?
Okay, so quick story. The day before we played the Bucks, I told Stanley Majestic, my roommate, we were just chopping up about the game, watching film, doing whatever we were doing. And I look at him and I'm like, you know what's crazy? We've never played the Bucks ever in a scrimmage, ever. Like they have never seen our offense. And so I kind of like, I pride myself on offense. Like I want my offense to be potent. I want it to be perfect. And I want it to be, every time you go against me, I want you to know that we have to stop this man, And so going into that game, I knew that they've never seen me this year. And it was perfect for me. So I went into that game and I told Stan, he was sitting on the can. I was just messing with him, but I was like, I'm going to drop 100 tomorrow. And he looked at me and he just laughed at me. And I was like, yeah, whatever. We go into the facility that day. The vibes were good. We were just hanging out. And I look at him right before the game. And I was like I gave him a nod, like, here we go. And the game started off and I got 30 points in a heartbeat. And I'm not going to lie, I was so confused that I had 30 that I was like, everyone was looking around, looking at me like, you're the best ever, da-da-da. And I was just sitting there like, we got to win the game. We got to win the game because we were up by like 15. But, it's a series. So I was more worried about the next game. And as time went on, when I reached 40, 45, I think that was around halftime, I was 17 for 17 or 18 for 18. And I didn't want to miss my field goal. I wanted to be 100%. But when my bad. Is this sign out on me? Am I still here? I'm still here. What do you got? But as time went on, I started, Dane looks at me and goes, Nidal, just goes for the record. And at that point, my eyes lit up. They gave me the green light. And that's when I started going. Now, I think I ended with 68 going into the fourth. And that's when they started holding the ball. But my brain was churning the whole game. I was like, I got to get this. And it kind of frustrated me towards the end. But I got this gift now where I put my legs up on the table like the game's over. So that's what I got out of the Bucks holding the ball in the fourth quarter. But it was unfortunate. I really wanted to drop 100, but it is what it is.
No, you mentioned Dane. I mean, I've been around. I know y'all been teammates for years, even beyond the 2K League. Now, y'all play together professionally for 3 years. Now, going into season 4, not playing with Dane. How do you feel about that?
It's tough. Dane's my right-hand man. He always will be, and he knows that. And again, this season kind of shattered what we had, and we kind of all knew maybe it was our last go-around. Maybe it was this. We never spoke about it, but it was kind of just always that elephant in the room. Like, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. And I think it was like the combination of I'm from California, he's from California, and we wanted to kind of get out of Portland. At the end of the day, Portland's not our scene. It's not our type of vibe. We dealt with it because we loved the team we were on. We loved the chemistry we had. And like I said, it was tough this season. This season 3 was tough. But at the end of the day, not playing with Dane next year is going to be crazy. But I am looking forward to playing against them. Hopefully it's on stage so I can talk a little trash to him, just get under his skin, because I know it gets under his skin, and just kind of joke around with him like I do with everybody else. But no, that's always going to be my brother. It's no hard feelings. We text all the time, till this day. So it's never an issue with me and him.
No, me personally, I know from hanging out with y'all in New York, I think y'all one of the better 1-2 punches when it comes to trash talking. And really, just talking shit in general. I think y'all, I think y'all doing it better than anybody as a combo. Just backtracking a little bit. Mama, I'm that man. Like, where did that gamer tag come from?
Okay, so that's a good question. So it's a question I get a lot, but it's a great question because it means a lot to me. So, growing up as a Warriors fan, living in San Francisco all my life, I watched the Warriors when 07, 08, 09, all those years. And it was always, we believe this, that, and the third. We never had the greatest seasons, and we started picking up towards the end. Watching basketball as well, Mark Jackson was a commentator. Now, one of Mark Jackson's famous sayings is, "Mama, there goes that man." And he says it a lot. My biggest memory was when he said it for Kobe. Kobe would hit a game winner, and he'd be like, "Mama, there goes that man." He would say it with such, it would be so emphatic. It would be like it caught your eye. And I never wanted to have a normal gamer tag. Before it was Nidal 007. And it was just a lot of I was just throwing my gamer tag out there. And I wanted something really creative that I can stick with for the rest of time. And so when he became the Warriors head coach, I was just sitting there and I was literally watching the game, and I heard this saying by one of the commentators said it, and I was like, no, Mama, I'm that man. And I kind of flipped it up, and literally that instant, I went to my Xbox, changed my gamer tag, and it's been history since.
Gotcha. I think you definitely have stood behind that gamer tag. What separates you from other point guards in the league?
I personally, I think that a lot of point guards care too much about what people think about them. And I know that's really like, everyone says that or whatever the case may be. But for me, it's like I go into every game, I hold myself to a standard that nobody else can hold me at, whether it's in practice, whether it's in the game. And sometimes that's why I let my frustrations get ahead of me, is because if I'm not having the best game or if my team's not up by 20, I get frustrated. And it's because I hold myself to a standard that's just like, Nidal, that's not realistic every game. But for me, it is, right? And so I go in with that, like, I don't ever accept having 2 points and 1 assist in a game, or like if I get locked up by somebody, I'm making sure that next time I play them that I have a great game, because that's just who I am. I've always had that kind of killer instinct in me, and I've always gone by there. Another thing is also just like having that good vibe around me. The game is one thing, but also being you and being able to talk to your teammates and for them to kind of rely on you for certain things is another. And I think that I have that in me where people can go up to me and ask me any question, or we could be honest with each other. We could be upfront. We could talk about certain things, even if we don't want to talk about it, and kind of get on each other from that standpoint. And I think I carry that, while other point guards in the league don't really have that yet. And so they kind of lack the leadership, or they lack, getting their teammates' attention or having that respect. And so that's kind of what I think I have over them.
Okay, but what's your feelings on playing back at home?
Oh, I'm excited. Not only did I want to come to California, but I wanted to come to the Kings. I mean, originally, of course, I wanted to play with Connor, and that's what I originally thought I was coming to do. Now, it didn't pan out like that, but I'm still really, really, really happy for my teammates that I got, and just the organization in general. I mean, now I'm only an hour and a half away from home. I get to take my car up and down, get to see my family whenever I want, do what I need to do. And I think also it helped me throughout the season, relieve stress throughout those weeks of being away in Portland. I would kind of just like sit there and be not bored, but it was just like, man, like I want to do different things. And now that I'm in my home state, I know everything. I can go anywhere I want. I can do whatever I want, kind of relieve that stress throughout the season. Hopefully it'll work out for me. But look, I'm playing with Crush. I'm playing with Yusuf, 2 defensive-minded players that I've really, really wanted throughout my years. And if they get me stops, they know I'm going to put it in the bucket. And I think it's a match made in heaven. I can't wait to get started.
Got you. Now, speaking on the fact that you're talking about hour and a half driving back home, you got the Tesla.
Yeah.
What? I mean, I'm sure, obviously you got a Tesla, so you could have had a choice of any car that you wanted, why the Tesla?
So I haven't had a car my whole life. So it was kind of just like ever since I was young. I got 3 sisters, so my dad got them cars, whatever the case may be. For me, it was kind of like get it on your own type of thing. And so I told myself, I was like 18, 19 when I got my license. I told myself, once I get the car, it's not going to be any other. It's not going to be an ordinary car. I want a car that I'm going to look at every day. When I look at, I know what I'm grinding for. I know what I want to be, and I want to like it sets that standard for me. Like I was talking about before. Every time I see the car, I know that if I'm lazy and I don't want to do an opportunity, I look at it like, you got this for a reason. Now go do what you got to do. Go handle your business on the court, off the court, endorsements, all that. But the Tesla in general is a car that doesn't really lose its value over time. So I was doing research on it. And so whatever I spent for it, 5-6 years down the road, if I would like to sell it, I'm not going to lose as much if I were to get a Jag or I get a BM or an Audi or whatever the case, because it's electric, because it updates by itself and does all that good stuff. I know the value will still kind of hold throughout those years. And on top of that, just a beautiful car that I love. And the first time I got in about when I was 19, my friend rented a Tesla and I got in it. And ever since then, I was like, that's the car I'm going to get. Nobody can tell me anything. And so once the endorsements came in and the years I've been in the league and all that good stuff, I was able to get it.
Got you. What are some things that people should know about Mama that they don't know?
Some things that they should know. I want to say I'm really outgoing. I feel like I'm easy to talk to. I understand all angles. I try to look at everything from everybody's perspective, especially when it comes to life in general. People go through things and all that good stuff, and some people they're afraid to talk about it. And with me, I feel like I've always wanted to be there for somebody if they want to talk about things or, anything of that nature. Also, just like I said, outgoing. I'm always in a good mood. If you see me in a bad mood, something happened. There's no way that Nidal Nasser is in a bad mood. I just don't see it. But man, I'm outgoing. Like I said, adventurous. I like a lot of things. Oh, and I love food. And I love food. Now, I might not be the biggest guy, but I'm talking about exotic foods and trying all this good stuff. I love stuff like that. So I'm just all over the place. But I'll always dabble in anything that I can.
Now, obviously, it's been an off season. What have you been doing to keep your game sharp, but also relax at the same time?
So the off season is it's tough because some people have that I want to play the game 24/7, hone my craft, do all that good stuff, while other people are on 2 different sides of the spectrum where they don't want to play the game at all. I'm not gonna lie, the first year I was kind of like, I don't want to touch the game. This year I've been playing it, and last year I've been playing it slowly but surely. Towards the end, usually the months leading up to league, I usually play the game a lot more to get really involved, learn everything I need to learn, and kind of go from there. Because it's all about the mechanics, the angles in the game, and all that where you need to get down. Because it's next gen for this year, I will be on the game a lot more. But I think it's really important to take a break. I think it's really important. I think that's why a lot of people get frustrated when the season comes around. I mean, you've been playing the game for 12 months straight. You get in the league and the results aren't what you want. It can drag you down. And when it drags you down, like I said, you take your frustrations out on your teammates, and now they look at you a certain way. Now the chemistry's messed up. A lot of things go into it, and people don't really understand that. But I wouldn't recommend not playing the game the whole offseason. That's not right. And I think that's a disservice to your teammates, most importantly. And so that's kind of what I've learned. And so that's what I've been taking with Crush and Yusuf. They play the game all the time. So I've kind of made it my duty to get on the game, play it, understand the mechanics, and go from there.
Okay. What next gen is here. Now some of us have it, some of us don't. Which consoles are you getting?
I'm gonna have both. Just so I can get in tune with both, and also learn the players on the PS5 side. I don't know many of the players on the PS5 side, believe it or not. I leave that up to Crush and Yusuf, but I have to take that type of responsibility and start looking at people and seeing who I actually like, who is going to be a Kingsguard member when the draft comes up, and all that good stuff. That's really the main reason. And also, I mean, I'm a professional video gamer, so I should have both, just if I need to get on the game at any time.
Got you. Thoughts about season 4? It seems like a long time from now, but it's gonna be here before you know it.
No, for sure. So one thing about season 4, when we get back on stage, and I haven't told Kenny this yet, but he'll know. The stage, when we get back on stage, I'm the MVP. Because Kenny might be the online MVP, all that good stuff, but the stage, it's my MVP. So that's the first thing I'm saying when I get back on there. I cannot wait to get back on stage, especially with my new teammates, the new colors I'll have on all that good stuff. I cannot wait. I've been thinking about it since season 3, since the beginning of the season. Like, when are we going to get back? When are we going to get back? It's really like my home. I love it, and that's what really drives me to play the game even more and to dominate, is being on the stage and be able to talk trash and see people. And also, I haven't met any of the guys from season 3 yet, like Kai and all those good guys that came in. I haven't met any of them, so I'm always looking forward to meeting them. And then also you guys coming in, just give them that rookie feel and doing all that good stuff to them to make them a little bit scared when they go against me.
Right. Now, over the weekend, you had the opportunity to participate in the USA E-National Team trials. How was that experience?
I'm not going to say too much about it. I don't want to. It was a little bit of, I liked it and I didn't. I'm going to be honest. I liked it because, of course, the opportunity is great. Trying out for it was awesome and all that good stuff. I felt like it was kind of just like rushed, forced. For example, like, I played with another point guard both days, and so I kind of played off ball, so I didn't really get to really lock in, do what I do, and be who I am, because I'm playing with another ball dominant guard. And at the end of the day, like, for me, of course, I wanted to make it, but it wasn't the biggest deal to me to make it. And so I kind of let the young guys go, do what you got to do. You know what I mean? If you want to do this, and so I kind of took that backseat. But it kind of, in the second day going into it, I thought that I would have my own team where I would have a Sharp, and a lock. And so I was playing lockdown with my playmaking shot creator for both days. So it kind of, like, it didn't motivate me at all to, like, try and do all this, because I was like, I'm not even playing my position. At this point, I'm playing lock on defense and I'm playing off ball. That's not what I'm going to be playing. So I kind of, it left a bad taste in my mouth, but at the end of the day, it was a great opportunity. So I'm not really mad at it.
Got you. Now, this was the main portion of the show. The name of it, the Freak Show Live. It caught a lot of people's attention over the season. I thought it was a great idea. Obviously, sometimes I know I can be looked at as a ultra conservative, maybe from the outside looking in. It's just a lot of things I just don't publicly indulge in. But the Freak Show, how did it come about? What was your thought process on it before you, or was it something you just did out of the blue? Talk about it.
Yeah, so it started one night. I came back. I'm not gonna lie, we might have been drinking that night, and I came back to that house and I was bored and I was looking at my phone and I was like, man, I can really get on Periscope and just start something. And I thought about it. I kind of like sat there and thought about, like, if I build this following, if I have this show where people like to come on and talk, and my show is strictly based off people who want to come on. I can only do so much. But if I don't have people that want to come on and talk trash and have fun with it, the show is actually dead. So it's actually about the people that come on. And so I kind of knew that was my biggest downfall with the whole show itself. But I sparked up the Periscope and got on there, and Timely Cook was actually one of the first people on there. And me and him were just going back and forth. It was just banter. We used to have season 1 in the lobby hanging out that we didn't have in season 2 and season 3 that people didn't see. Season 1 was all about the lobby. After the game, everyone would go to the lobby. It would be like 30 players. We'd all have a good time, talk trash, talk about next week, what we're going to do, all this good stuff. So I kind of brought it, virtually. And when it kicked off, and the people did not stop coming. It's something that I love. I love to entertain. And so for me, it's not even working for me. And people are like, oh, why don't you take it to Twitch? Why don't you take it to this? And that's something I plan to do later on. But for me, it wasn't about the money. It wasn't about anything. It was just about having fun, bringing some more light to the league, bringing some more drama. And I think that one of my best examples I could say for my show that, like, it transferred over into the league was when me and Bear were going at it. It was our game to get into the playoffs. I think was one of the most watched games throughout the whole season. And so that didn't just stem because it was a spot to get in the playoffs. It was because it was Mama versus Bear, and everyone knew whoever won was going to get online and talk some trash. So, it was good, and I plan to continue it. I've kind of taken a break, but once this trade window opens up and all these trades start pouring out, I'm going to have all the people that got traded on, and we'll go crazy from there.
Okay. At this point of the show, I want to say this. We're going to do a Q&A after I do the OG Wants to Know. And, have your questions ready in the chat. I might have Mama, look at it, taking shots at answering whatever he wants to answer. I'll look in there and see if anybody has anything for me as well. But OG wants to know is a rapid fire questions. Answer open as honestly as possible. So let's get it started. Biggest influence?
Biggest influence for me?
Yeah.
My parents.
What motivates you?
Being great.
Favorite video game of all time?
NBA 2K.
Favorite sports team?
Sports team, Minnesota Vikings.
I wouldn't have expected that.
I know. I left field, right?
Favorite athlete?
Adrian Peterson.
Okay. Favorite actor and actress?
I couldn't tell you.
None?
Couldn't tell you.
Celebrity crush?
Multiple. We'll just go with Kylie Jenner for now.
Hey, you and Chuck got the same one. Favorite movie of all time?
Favorite movie of all time? Couldn't tell you.
So you don't watch a lot of TV then, do you?
I don't watch a lot of TV. I don't even have cable. We don't have cable in our house. We haven't had cable for 4 years. I don't really watch TV like that. I just watch
man, that was something. Hey, that when I asked you something that people should know that they don't know, that's like one of those things. Like, man, you don't watch. No, people probably wouldn't even thought that. Like, I was actually shocked that you. Well, hell, you're an entertainer, so it kind of makes sense to a degree.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself in the next 10 years?
Hopefully the league will blow up, and I see myself as a superstar streaming and doing everything I wanted to do in life.
Okay. What advice would you give to anyone that's aspiring to be a 2K League professional?
My biggest advice and my best advice is once you get in, don't stop. Come out of your shell, be who you are, gain connections, and you don't have to kiss anybody's behind to gain respect and gain connection. Just be you. Be normal. That's what you do every day when you hang out with your friends or whatever. Be you, and they're either going to accept you or they're not. And from there on, you can go on. But once you get in, don't let anybody else tell you what you can't do, because once you allow them to do that, it's over and your growth stops and everything stops for you.
Gotcha. I agree. I think right now with the league, ever since the beginning, all the way up until now, people are letting other people shape who and what they should be instead of being themselves. And I think it's causing a lot of people to lose focus on what they're really going after. So I definitely agree with that. At this point, if you got any questions right now, hey, fire them away.
I'm ready for all the questions, and make them hard for me. Give me some crucial questions. Give me some questions that I can't answer.
I think, okay. Famous said, what was your thoughts on getting traded?
So I don't know if many people know, but I requested to be traded. So I knew I was going to get traded. For me, I just felt like it was time to get out of Portland, start fresh, do things with new teammates, and grow from there. And so that was my big thing. The Kings was one of the teams that I wanted to go to. I gave the Blazers a list, and we went from there, and they respected my wishes, and they got me to the team that I wanted to go to. The only thing that shocked me again was not playing with Connor. I thought Connor wasn't in the deal. I didn't know who was in the deal, and my intention was like, I'm going to go play with Connor again and link up in Sacramento. And so when that didn't happen, I was kind of completely stunned by that. But at the end of the day, it's a business, and we got to go from there.
Okay, made in India. He said, if season 4 is remote play, what are 2 key things you will change from your play?
From my play?
Yeah. It said, hold on, let me finish. It said, what are two things you would change from your play? What are 2 key, season 3 to make sure you and your team compete for a top seed, especially since you'll still be on the West Coast, and you yourself mentioned that was an issue last year. It's a good question.
What are 2 key things you will change to make sure you're in your top? What are 2 things you will change from season to make sure your team will be a top seed? Oh, okay. I think one of the biggest keys that I'll have going into this Kings team is, playing the game a lot more. Like I said, when the homeless man broke into our house, we took about a 21-day rest from 2K. And that was because people had to quarantine, people went home, all this good stuff. And so we knocked off 3 games in a row. I think it was Warriors, Jazz, and Kings. We knocked off those 3 games in a 4-day span after not playing the game for 21 days straight. So that kind of hurt us. And I always felt like we were behind in a lot of things. And so as you saw towards the end of the season, we started picking it up. Everyone started learning the game more. And again, that's with putting extra work in and doing all that. And I think a big thing for me going with the Kings is being a better leader, being a leader that they need. And just being myself and maintaining my emotions and, not letting it get the best of me and letting my teammates understand who I am and wanting them to understand, everything that is going on, what our goals are, and kind of just having a little bit more structure throughout the whole season. I think that's a big thing for online plays, having structure. And so those are the 2 key things I would have.
Okay. Yeah, you're right, Famous. I was butchering. Black Frank White said, if you have a bad year, is this trade a bust for you?
If we have a bad year, if the Kings have a bad year?
Yeah.
Oh, we're not gonna have a bad year. That question is irrelevant because the Kings will not have a bad year.
Okay. Got you. I think how was it after signing that endorsement deal with Point 3?
Oh, it was crazy. When I signed that deal, like when it was coming to fruition, I was like completely shocked by it. You kind of get that feeling of like you made it, but not really, but you made it as in where people believe in you. And so when I got that first endorsement deal, I was looking at the contract and I literally stared at the contract. Mind you, the contract's not that long, but I was looking at the contract for probably 20 minutes straight. And I kept rereading it to making sure my name was on it. And I just kept rereading it. And so when I saw it and they gave me the opportunity just to have my own clothing brand and to be a part of their business and all that, and for them to believe in me, it kind of again, now that I accomplished that, I have a new standard I have to get to. And every time I get a new opportunity that I accomplish, my standard gets higher and higher to the point where I'm going to become everything that I want to be. And so for me, that was like a huge confidence boost.
Good. I'm happy for you. I mean, as somebody who, focuses on branding a lot, I think that's something that players need to see. I mean, because I don't think it's happening as much as players would like, but also got to get out your comfort zone. Like I was told, success is not in your comfort zone because if it was, you'd already be successful. So you have to search outside the box and really get comfortable out there, and in order to get everything that's out there for you. I think some of these names, Yo Troy. So if he could trade for one more player to bring to the Kings, who would it be?
What a great question. What a great question that I unfortunately can't answer. That's something above my grade. But that's a great question that I can't answer. Now I have a player in mind, but I can't answer that question.
Yeah. Turn on that AC. What do you think will be the best takeover badges in NBA 2K21?
The best takeover badges?
Yeah.
For me, I just think it's whatever fits you. Now, a lot of people don't like the playmaking badge or whatever the case. Everyone likes a sharp badge or a slasher badge. But, for certain people, if you like to pass, if you like to get your teammates involved, it doesn't matter. I think all the badges are really, it's good. It's whatever you pick, whatever's best for you. So just go ahead, go with your gut and take it from there.
No, I'm the same way. I mean, although I don't play the game nearly as much as I used to on the come up, but I mean, a lot of times people try, and I made a tweet the other day talking about players mimicking builds and everything like that. And I understand metas and this and that, but if you're not, everybody's not good at the meta. Like people try to play with the same lineups, but if you're not as good with that player or that build, then it's no good at the end of the day. So my whole point was, if you're going to lose or not play well, you might as well give it a shot at doing something that may be more beneficial to you. That's really was my point of making the tweet. All the copycat, I mean, it gets a little absurd after a while, especially if you're never in the hunt to win, whether that's Pro-Am or sometimes even in the league. I think, give it a different shot. I think this year I'm really intrigued to see how the Bills go, because it's looking like you can do a lot of things with these Bills, especially looking at some of the next gen streams. So it's going to be interesting to see what we get and how well people adapt to them.
No, for sure.
I think Made in India say you're clearly confident in your gameplay and in your teammates. What are some weaknesses in your gameplay or leadership style that can be improved in season 4?
So I've done a lot of self-reflection after this season 3. I felt like because of everything, we were all compressed and all that good stuff. I let my emotions get the best of me. And so for season 4, going on to this new team, I've been saying it to myself, I can right all the wrongs that I had in Portland. There were certain things that kind of carried over from season 1 adult to season 2 to season 3. And I've kind of slowly but surely chopped off all the negative things, but of course I have plenty more flaws I can get rid of. My biggest thing is honestly just checking my emotions, whether that's mid-game, after the game, before the game. I'm a passionate player, and sometimes it's going to get the best of me, but I have to be able to control it to how I want to control it. I can't let stupid stuff get me mad. I can't let a little mistake get me mad here or there, whether it's practice or not. So that's my biggest thing, righting all my wrongs, leading better, speaking better to certain people if they need that assistance. And again, just being someone that they can rely on day in and day out, whether it's real life, on the court, off the court, camera shot, it doesn't matter what it is, they can go to Nidal to help them out.
I mean, that all that speaks is growth, man. I mean, I think a lot of people, once they think about what they're going to do when they get to the league. And then for some people, it either goes here or it goes here or it goes here. So the adjustments you make after that, I think, are critical. Because if you talk to each and every player, you'll hear that, first time being a professional, first time, doing anything at that level. A lot of times, for most players, they don't even get 300. They don't even get 300 people to watch them on the stream, let alone some thousands. While people complain about viewership with the 2K League, but most players are not even used to playing in front of that many, especially if we're back in the arena and that type of vibe and atmosphere. That kills a lot of introverts.
No, for sure.
I think it's that growth. That self-reflection and growth is good for all. Any more questions before we wrap it up? This man's expensive, man, so I can't hold him too much longer.
That's funny.
Made in India, will you call yourself a top 3 PG if you retire without winning a championship? Hold on. It says in parentheses, don't say I'm winning a championship and not answer the question.
Okay. That's a question. I wholeheartedly believe that I'm the best player on the planet. So championship, no championship, whatever the case comes with it. I feel like my game speaks for myself. And not only that, I think that my game transfers over to real life as well. Like I said, being a leader, being somebody everyone can rely on, being the face of an organization, being somebody that the organization can rely on to do interviews, to grow their brand as well as my brand. I feel like I try to do everything. And so the game doesn't define me. So championship, no championship, none of that matters to me. Well, it matters to me. It definitely matters. I want a championship, but if I don't get one, it's not the end of the world for me.
Right. It is good you said that, because I think a lot of people you got to count every win in the 2K League, whether that's netting a sponsorship, for the organization, for yourself, everything. Like you can't get too down and you can't get too high. You got to float somewhere in between. So I'm definitely with that all the way.
Yeah.
So, to wrap it up, man, let everybody know how they can follow you on social media.
So for Twitter, you can follow me at MamaImDatMan _ at the end. MamaImDatMan's all together _ at the end. On Instagram, it's Nidal Nasser 7. You can follow me on there as well. On Twitch, it's MamaImDatMan. I try to keep it simple for the most part, so you should be able to find me if you just type in Nidal Nasser or MamaImDatMan. All my socials should pop up. You can follow me there. And just get ready for this big season that we're about to have at Kings Guard. All the guys are ready. And we're ready to beat some nets. I've been having a bad case. I need to beat some nets, so I got to get OG out of there, do all that good stuff. But no, in all seriousness, I can't wait. I can't wait for the season. I can't wait for everybody to get started. I'm excited.
I appreciate it, man. First, I want to thank you for coming on and doing the first ever live OG2CENTS podcast on Twitch, man. I really appreciate it. You unknowingly pushed me to get out of my comfort zone and do something a little different. Like I said, I'm more used to the laid back, record, pre-record, just me and the guests, not having to worry about anything or whatever. So thank you for that, man. And thanks to everybody in the chat for tuning in tonight. Truly appreciate it. Make sure you follow the OG2CENTS podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow me on all social media platforms at OG King CURT. That's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can go to www.ogkingcurt.com for everything OG King CURT and the OG2CENTS podcast. Shout out to my team, Strider Visuals, Box Graphics, and Cy Evermore. Catch me on EsportsXTRA every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from anywhere from 7 to 8:30 p.m. That's with host Larry Ridley, Renee Montgomery, Kelly Wells Brinkley, Kevin Mamuzet, Derwin Gorell, and Antonio Williams. That's EsportsXTRA on twitch.tv/compete forever. Make sure you tune in to next week's episode. And remember, if it makes sense, it's an OG2CENTS. OG out.
Hey, much love to the whole MPBA league. Special shout out to the Brooklyn Nets gaming crew. We on our way, baby. What's up, JP? LT. Big West. Famous enough. 2K comp games. Black Frank White. Brooklyn Nick. Rico. Let's put this work in, fellas. And much, much, much love to the entire 2K community for always showing me love. Without y'all, we wouldn't be here. Yeah.